What's up YouTube? Jeff back again from dopetechdaily.com. Today I'm bringing you guys a quick unboxing of my customized Moto Maker G Plus. So this is the G4 Plus, you can see right there, from Motorola and Lenovo. This is the 4GB, 64GB variant, so you got 4GB of RAM, 64GB of internal storage. I did create this on Moto Maker. It's got the black front. You guys will see the color combination. I already opened the box, obviously, as you can see. Put my SIM card in there. I just want to walk through the initial setup. Set up the fingerprint scanner so I can give you guys an idea of how fast I think it is. Then I'm going to show you guys some size comparisons as usual to some other flagship phones so you get an idea of the size. And of course the full review will be coming very soon. This is just initial unboxing impressions. Very simple box from Moto and Lenovo. You can see that now it does say Lenovo on the packaging. So here's the one that I got. We'll go ahead and see what else is in the box in a second. This is the one that's got the dark blue back, as you can see. That's not black, that's dark blue. You've got the Motorola logo. You've got the gold trim right here around the camera. And you can see here the back snapping a little bit. I took it off to put the SIM on. Didn't get it all the way seated back in place. It's got the black front, as you guys can see right there. You can see I already walked through the setup to get to the fingerprint. It's got the Moto G4 Plus logo. We'll go ahead and peel the plastic off. I wanted to do that with you guys just because, you know, it's kind of fun to peel the plastic off the phones. Let's see if we can get it here. Need some nails. Nail action. There we go. Peel that right off. So we got the logo off there. And you can see it's got the black front, the fingerprint scanner. Now I didn't get the regular Moto G4. It's got lower specs, no fingerprint scanner. But otherwise the body is the same, 5.5-inch display. Of course you got a plastic back here which is removable. This is where you're going to put your SIM card and everything. I'll go ahead and take it off again so you guys can see. I already did this. Take it off and put your SIM card. There's a little tray right in there. Is where I put my SIM. I put the Verizon SIM in here just to make sure it works. It's supposed to work on all of the major US carriers. You also got a micro SD slot right there where you can put in some expandable storage. You do want to make sure you, again, sort of go all the way around the back here. It is kind of, takes a few times to snap it all in, especially right here around the camera because it doesn't want to seat completely. So I had that issue. As you guys saw, it was still a little creaky when I got it out of the box there. So I went ahead and set everything up except for fingerprint scanner. I just want to walk through the software. Overall impressions of the hardware though, before we do that. I like the metal on the outside here. You do have plastic back, so it's not a super premium build, but this max specs here for $299 with the Moto Maker options, pretty damn good in my opinion. It does look really nice. It feels nice, the soft touch back. Sort of got a little texture to it, feels nice in hand. Now one thing you'll notice is it doesn't have that curvature the Moto X Pure had last year. This is essentially a flat back. On the top here you do have sort of a rounded portion. You can see right there. And then you can see that Motorola did another thing that I hate that returns from last year, and that's a headphone jack right in the middle of the top of the phone. I think that's really stupid personally. I'm not a huge fan of it. You guys can tell me what you think in the comments section below. Otherwise, the phone does feel good in hand. It doesn't feel too big for a 5.5-inch phone. You do have a little texture to the power button, so that allows you to distinguish it between that and the volume rocker. Lastly, as you guys can see right here, we don't have USB Type-C, still with the micro USB charging, but you do get turbocharger in the box, which I'll show you guys in just a second. All right, so let's go ahead and get through this really quickly and take a look at the software. I'm going to set up my fingerprint scanner, so I'm going to go ahead and put in a PIN. I'll just register temporary PIN for right now, and then show notification content. Sensors down here, and let's go ahead and set it up. So it does appear to be quite fast. Trying to capture all of my thumbprint here. It was pretty fast at recognizing it. Pretty impressed. So I'll add another one later. Go ahead and get Google now. Skip through to the rest of the software so we can take a quick look. I'll sign up for some Moto updates. And then it'll take us right to the home screen. So I'm pretty impressed with the fingerprint scanner for a $299 phone. I think it's very fast. The setup's not as fast as some of the other scanners like the G5. I found that the Nexus 6P also very fast with the initial setup, but we'll see how it is in the everyday sort of usage. And of course, on this phone, you've got very close to stock Android, as Motorola normally does. You guys can see right here. Let me actually turn the brightness down a little bit so we can actually continue. We have pretty close to stock Android here. You're not going to get any huge customization from Motorola and Lenovo, which I like personally. Makes for a nice light version of Android, especially since this is a mid-range phone. You don't want to have too much extra features clogging it up. You still got a few things here, of course, like the Moto app. You've got some of their customizations, like their various gestures, Moto display, things like that. But otherwise, just the Google apps, essentially no bloatware on this phone out of the box. Feels super snappy. Of course, you swipe and you get to your Google homepage here with your cards and everything like that. Very, very nice. Overall, the software looks good. Of course, I'll have to use it over time, test it out, and see what's going on with that. But my initial impressions are quite nice software, of course, with not much of a skin. And again, not much to say. I'll test out the camera, of course, get back to you guys in the full review. Kind of hard to determine much about the camera or the overall performance in terms of gaming, just in the unboxing. All right, so that's quick software and hardware impressions. Let's go ahead and do a quick size comparison. One other thing, I just want to show you guys what's in the box. You've got some instructions on how to take the SIM in and out, which I already showed you. And then the only thing else that's in the box is the turbocharger. But they do include the turbocharger this year, which is nice because last year the turbocharger was not included in the packaging with the Motorola phones. So it's nice to see that Motorola, Lenovo stepped up and gave you that in the box. So nothing else really included, which you wouldn't expect for a $299 phone, not really fancy packaging. All right, so let's go ahead and get some quick comparisons in the size. So the first phone I have up for comparison is the HTC 10. You guys can see right here, the Moto G Plus is a 5.5-inch screen. So of course it's going to be a bigger phone. You can see it's taller. It's also thicker by quite a bit, even though HTC 10 has a more sizable camera hump. And of course, it's going to be quite a bit wider because the HTC 10 is just not as big of a phone. So of course, this phone is not huge for a 5.5-inch phone, but the HTC 10 is quite a bit smaller. One that a lot of people are going to want to see is the OnePlus 3, also a 5.5-inch phone. If we put these two side by side, you'll see that the OnePlus 3 is a bit taller. It's also a bit skinnier, so the Moto G Plus is quite a bit thicker. And if we put them sort of to see the width, you can see that they're very similar in width. I would say in terms of the imprint in the hand, the Moto G Plus does feel smaller in the hand. I imagine it's going to be a little easier to use with one-handed use for those of you who have small hands. The LG G5, now the G5 does have a 5.3-inch screen, not 5.5-inch. So if we put these two side by side, you'll see that in terms of the height, they're very similar. The G Plus just a little bit taller. The LG G5 here is quite a bit thinner than the G Plus. And then if we put them on top of one another, you can see the G Plus is a little bit wider, but not too much. So I would say the G Plus actually feels a lot like the 5.3-inch LG G5 in hand in terms of the overall footprint. So if you're wondering about getting this phone, you think it's too big, I wouldn't worry about that at all. It definitely feels like a smaller screen size in hand. The next phone that a lot of people are going to want to see is the Galaxy S7 Edge. So this is a great comparison, one of the other big flagships on the market. Certainly a great sort of reference point for the size. If we put these two side by side, you see that the S7 Edge and the G Plus are very similar in height, almost the same. The S7 Edge is a lot thinner, and if we put them on top of each other, the G Plus is a little bit wider. So they're about the same height. The G Plus is a little bit wider, but again, if you're worried about size, I think the S7 Edge is the best feeling 5.5-inch phone in terms of size in the hand. So if you're worried about size, I wouldn't be worried about this. This is a pretty small phone for 5.5 inches. And then just for fun, this has no practical application. If you were considering this phone, you probably would never consider this one. But this is the Xiaomi Mi Max, which I have an unboxing coming of this if you're waiting to see it. I just thought we'd do a quick size comparison. And you can see there's the Xiaomi Mi Max. I can barely even fit its height completely in the frame. And it completely eclipses the G Plus. So just to see how big the Xiaomi Mi Max is, incredibly wide. Just to see at the top profile, you can see how much wider it is than the G Plus. This is a 6.44-inch screen phone. So if you guys are waiting on this, you'll get to see the unboxing of this coming very soon. So overall, I'm very impressed with the Moto G4 Plus out of the box. I'm excited to use this. I'll have an in-depth comparison to the OnePlus 3 because I think a lot of people will be interested to see how these two phones stack up. They're sort of in the same price point, the same area in terms of consumers looking for a phone. So I'll do an in-depth comparison of that. I also have launched recently a new channel. It may or may not be your thing. It's a sneaker channel, which is my other hobby. You can see that's why my table's a little dirty. I just did a video for the sneaker channel. I'm going to link that below. I'm going to talk a little more about that in a vlog. If you're into that sort of thing, check it out. I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, I'll have a lot more videos coming up on the tech channel, including videos on this phone. Let me know what you guys want to see in the comments below. Please find me on Instagram, Google+, and Twitter. The link's in the description. Like and subscribe if you guys enjoy my content. You can also find me on dopetechdaily.com. I really appreciate you guys checking out this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.